Hello? Hello? All right. There we are. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Here we are. Okay. So, Russia stands for establishment of fully fledged Palestine state. Wow. 86, welcome in. Good to have you, good to have you. Alright, well here we have it. Let's get right to it. We have it. Saudi Arabian military has gone into a high state alert following deadly clashes with Yemen Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, according to people familiar with the matter. Bloomberg. Saudi Arabia has gone into high states, according to... Four Saudi soldiers died in a fight with Houthi forces in the mountain southwestern Jassan province of the border with Yemen, said the people, asking not to be identified as the information is private. Saudi Arabia Defense Force has also intercepted a missile in Saudi territory fired by Houthis in the past week. So, just want to point out something here. This is Iranian-backed militias. Houthis, that organization is Iranian-backed militias. They're not just anybody. So, is it serious? Yeah. I think it is. Now, could I tell you why it happens? Sure. I could tell you why it happens. I think it happening because Iran continues to want to control the Middle East, and the only way you control the Middle East is with oil. Saudi Arabia has all the oil. If you disrupt that, if you disrupt the continuation of that, and you blow up tankers, you blow up oil fields, you blow up anything really. I mean, that's how you disrupt that. So that's where I think we're heading. But at any point, you know, it's really yeah. I mean, I'm making a thought of it because when you think about it, you know, what's the likeliest states, you know, and I think that's where we're looking at right now. Russia is ready for realistic negotiation with the West regarding Ukraine, says Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. In case the necessary conditions are created, we maintain readiness for political discussion on realistic principle, both for the post-conflict resolution of the Ukraine crisis and for the parameters of the further coexistence with the West as a whole, stated Shoigu. However, the Russian defense minister emphasized that the West's countries must halt their pursuit of strategic defeat of Russia for the negotiations to take place, but the conditions for talk have not yet been established. The crisis just devalued 300,000 people who died, and not even enough bodies back were for everyone. Well, perhaps someday Russians will realize they're dying for no reason, but it's doubtful. Yeah. So, Sergei, the Russian defense minister, and probably Putin, has, well, decided that, well, we are willing to negotiate. However, all aid must stop to Ukraine. Is that something that's realistic? No. So, it's absolutely Russia trying to say, oh, look at that, you know, you guys didn't want peace, you continued to supply weapons, you didn't want peace, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they can go fuck themselves. That's what they can do. And yeah, I don't really have much more on what's happening there in Saudi. I mean, all we know right now is that they've been placed in a high readiness. We don't know if they're directly gone to war yet, but it's not too fun, you know? It's not too fun. So I think I have... 1 second. There's still explosions happening in the back here. Let's get you Trey Yingst here. 1 second. The explosions in the background is still there.
For you, breaking right now.
Okay, we got 2 videos for you. He's from Israel, on the ground.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. We do have some new information for you breaking right now. Fox News has learned that a high-level Israeli official in coordination with the United States visited Doha on Saturday to meet with Qatari negotiators. The discussion focused around the hostages and how to further those talks to get more hostages released. That information from an official who was briefed on the visit. We're also learning more about how the escalation on Friday night began. This source telling Fox that talks had stalled on Friday due to disagreements on the technical aspects of a potential deal. The talks did continue on Saturday and were described by this source as productive. All of this comes as Israeli forces are now operating in the Gaza Strip behind me. I want to show you what it was like just 2 hours ago.
That's the city right now.
You can see right here Israeli troops operating inside the Gaza Strip. What you're looking at.
There you have it. That's directly from Gaza, as you can see. Got another video here.
Remain active here. You can hear behind me Israeli artillery units remain active here along the border. They continue to pummel the northern part of the Gaza Strip.
Serious situation took place in the West Bank today. Well, earlier today, quite earlier. So here you have it. The chief of Israeli Domestic Intelligence Agency, the Shin Bet, has warned of a possible eruption of violence in the West Bank amid rising violence between settlers and Palestinians. So I was talking about that yesterday. Some of the citizens in that area has called for an increase in not only attacks, but they've also called for mobilization of army, or at least people. Some kind of holy mobilization kind of effect, you know?
I will say that we have...
Biden State Department spokesman Matt Miller, we have made it quite clear to the Iranian government that we will defend the U.S. interest and that we hope that they will choose a path of de-escalation. Iranian-backed proxies have attacked U.S. forces in Syria and Iraq 23 times in just the past 2 weeks. Palestine deserves the right to stay on Palestine land. We have to make responsible planning expectations for the possibility of refugees. So here you have it.
Or what the Iranians have received, or how they have interpreted the messages. I will say that we have been very clear. We have made quite clear that we will defend United States interests and United States personnel in the region. You saw us conduct military operations last week to reinforce that fact. We have made this clear directly to the Iranian government, and we hope that they will choose a path of de-escalation.
Are there plans to admit Gazan refugees into the U.S.?
Again, we believe that the people of Gaza want to stay in Gaza. That's what we've consistently heard from Palestinian leadership and others in the region, and we believe that they have the right to do so. We have to make reasonable planning expectations for the possibility of refugees, but we have made quite clear that our position is that Palestinians deserve the right to stay on Palestinian.
перспонированный в том,
I, of course, when muted. How long have I been muted? I muted myself when we watched the first video there, so I'll just backtrack here. Sorry about that. That was my mistake there. Sorry about that. I will backtrack here. The Ministry of Defense from China says that wherever U.S. machine goes, well, you know, destruction comes along. That's what he came out with. That came out today. Netanyahu, or the Prime Minister of Israel, says that, well, the only option for Hamas is to completely surrender or either die. They have given them two options. There are two options in total. That is, Witchy, welcome in. There is two options for Hamas. That's what the current Prime Minister of Israel said. Die or surrender. Unconditionally. Current aid system for Gaza geared to fail, UN warns. Thanks, UN. Again, you are just good for nothing, aren't you? How long was I muted? I think I may have been muted for a little bit. No, not that much. No, not that long. Sorry about that. I keep forgetting sometimes. Turkey's MFA. We condemn in the strongest term the Israeli attack on Turkey's Palestinian Friendship Hospital in Gaza today. Although all necessary information, including the coordination of their only cancer hospital in Gaza, was shared with the Israeli authorities in advance, there is no explanation for such an attack. The siege and these inhuman attacks, which aim to deprive Palestinian people in Gaza of their most basic rights, clearly violate international law. Israel must stop its indiscriminate and total targeting of Gaza residents. Well, oh, air raids. I think it's here. Oh yeah. There are air raids going on in Ukraine right now. Maybe some all clear air raids. Could be from here actually. Prokuyski district. Look at that. Russian sources report that attack and missiles were struck for the first time in temporarily occupied Crimea. Tonight, an attack was made by American MGM-140 attack missiles in the Olingivka region of Crimea. Russian mass media report that there are casualties as a result of the strike. Previously, the place had already been attacked by Neptune missiles as there was precisions of Russian air defense in the area. I believe that's where they took out the S-400, the 600 million air defense system. Vaughn, welcome in. Welcome in. Hamas officials claims that 6 Israeli vehicles, including 3 tanks, were destroyed in the past 24 hours. Really? Gaza report just in 1 minute ago here. The Israel forces penetrating from the central Gaza is now advancing westward in the sea, to the sea from Salah ad-Din Road, and it will completely sever the strip if completed. Oh, holy shit, guys! This is actually pretty intense. This is actually pretty big news right here. The Israeli forces penetrating from the central is now advancing westwards to the sea. So, penetrating from central Gaza, so central... I reckon that's... Yeah, so right in the middle, between north and south, right? To the sea from Salah ad-Din Road, and it will completely sever the strip if completed. Funny, because I said that. Now, I don't want to toot my own horn here again, but I did say that I thought that was going to be the point of what they were going to try and do. So, there you have it. Breaking news there. Apparently, we just had a report from Gaza Report, which is a pretty trustable source. I'm pretty sure I've followed them, and a lot of people follow them. It appears to me that they have just started. The Israelis have apparently now broken through the lines. We did know that they were here, but supposedly what they've done now is break through here, and I think they're gonna take this road right here, or it could be that road. But I think what they're talking about, one of these 2 roads right here, I think it's that road, because I think one of the reports said that they were here. They broke through here, because we actually saw tanks come through here, and they bulldozed in the area around here. They attacked through here. That would be a pretty interesting development here. I mean, they gotta be in a full-scale invasion by now. I mean, I'm just saying, like, they keep saying it's not a full-scale invasion, but let's be honest here. It pretty much, at this point, is a full-scale invasion, because they keep coming in, you know? UK promises to provide more military aid to Ukraine and unite allies to give Kyiv everything it needs, the Kingdom's defense minister said. Nice job. United Kingdom. The World Health Organization in the West Bank and Gaza says it has documented 200 attacks on healthcare since the 7th of October, leading to 494 people killed, including 16 healthy workers on duty. Oh, sorry about that. One second. There you have it. Sorry, I just dropped something on the floor there.
Und es zeigt die ganze Barbarei, die hinter dem Angriff der Hamas steckt.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty interesting stuff there coming out. Putin says Russian law enforcement must take film actions in wake of anti-Israel riot. Jesus Christ. According to Bloomberg, 4 Saudi soldiers were killed on the border with Saudi Arabia and Yemen in the city of Yishan. I did say that earlier there, but we have a second report now. Bloomberg is reporting that. By the way, I read a tweet earlier that Hamas is still calling upon the
Related form.
is still calling upon the what's it called, the Hezbollah forces to attack upon Desire, welcome in. Holy shit. The Hamas forces is still calling upon the Hezbollah forces to attack. However, it appears to us that the Lebanese defense minister said earlier today that they were going to try to do everything in their power to not attack, which is a weird statement because you could just say we're not going to attack, but it doesn't matter. I get what he's saying, you know. But then they also said that, and they also stated that, well, the longer they go, the longer it's gonna, you know, take before, the less chances they have of attacking. I think the tweet was saying that the longer they go right now, the less chances and the slimmer of conditions the Lebanese or the Hezbollah forces have to actually do anything that could possibly change the scenario inside of the Gaza Strip, or at least trying to put some pressure off. But I think Hezbollah is seeing what's happening in Hamas, and I think they're the you believe Lebanon? Fair enough. I mean, I think the Hamas forces, right, is pretty much being beat to the bone. And I think a lot of the Hezbollah forces that are in Lebanon are looking at that scenario. They're looking at it. They're seeing the destruction level. And they are just saying to themselves that we realize now that, well, you know, Israel's not fucking around anymore. Let's be honest here, guys. It's the ultimate redemption. Because, like, Israel was being hammered by Hamas. And Israel is giving back. And people, you know, of course, everybody was saying, oh, Hamas can go into Israel. Hamas can go into Israel, blah, 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 right? But as soon as Israel starts attacking Palestinians, oh, no, stop. You know, but Hamas can attack Israeli civilians. Oh, that's okay. But as soon as they start attacking back and start defending themselves, they're like, oh, stop. You know, they act like victims every time. The Red Crescents report that 26 aid trucks entered Gaza from the Rafah crossing this evening. Their aid is going into Gaza, into the northern part, which is where Israel told them to go. You know? So, yeah. Sorry, I'm not really... Brain's a bit out of it right now. I don't know why. They also saying that there are no possible chance for a ceasefire in Gaza. Just saying. There has been an Israeli woman, I believe, or some hostages has been released from hostages doing the ground operation currently. It's currently more proof to us that the Israelis are advancing further than we could have ever imagined, right? So here you have it. Take a look at this right here. This is where they are. The Israeli army rescued her? Yeah. That's what I heard as well. So there are small incursions here from the Israeli army. This is where I believe they're meeting the most resistance. I believe this area here is where they're meeting the most resistance. This is the area they're along the coast where the Israelis also are. Now, one of the things that we are looking at right now is this right here. The Israelis are actually moving along the road here. Now, I did say one of these two roads here. And I just had a tweet from Gaza Reports that they were going to move along one of these roads here. I believe it might be this road. However, it could be this road. But I think they're more exposed down here than they are up here. And I believe they're trying to keep it as far away from as possible from the northern part. So they're probably going to pick this road right here. Which would be, if they capture that, and if they capture that area there, that would be a complete cutoff of the Gaza central part, the southern part of Gaza. This part right here is where it'd be completely cut off. And if the IDF forces then manage to completely cut the coast off, which I think is what they're doing right now, you know, I think before we're going to see the complete invasion, which is when they're going to start calling a complete invasion, I think it's going to be when they have closed off it all. They're going to close this off first. That's what they're moving on right now. And then they're probably going to start closing this one off, meeting in the middle here somewhere. Right, and then they push up. You know, they push them out. They go into the tunnels, tunnel fighting there for you. But that's the current updates that we have. A lot of explosions, tank fire, and well, things are still going off. We have artillery fire still in the area. So yeah. In the area of Bakhmut Donetsk region, the adversary has significantly reinforced its grouping and transitions from its defensive stance to active operation, as stated by the commander of the ground forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Olenska Sersky. The situation remains complex in the east. The enemy continues its attempts to achieve success and daily attacks on our positions. It shows particular activity in the Kupiansk area, attempting to advance on several fronts simultaneously in the Bakhmut area. The enemy has significantly strengthened its grouping and switched to active operation, Sersky said is in an interview with the Interfax Ukraine agency. Fair enough. And another point I want to make here for you. Look at this. The Ukrainians are across the river. They are in Kherson. Dnipro River front. Ukraine forces have reportedly liberated the village of Krinkry of the left bank of Dnipro, awaiting confirmation by the General Staff. Here you have it. We have a official report here coming out. We may need to hear from the General Staff. It's possible we haven't heard from them yet due to security concerns. However, as I'm hearing at the moment, we are still we are in the area. The Ukrainian forces have taken areas in Kherson. The Russian army is crumpling, and you know what they've hit today. I'll give you the force number here as we go through here. I think this is pretty exciting here. As you can see, it's coming up. Don't worry. We are at approximately, I believe, at this point in time, we are at the 300,000 mark. Now, note right now, they're saying 2,999. Well, I can't even say that in English. But this number, 2,999,000, right? That's how you say it, right? Or 940, right? Yeah. And they've just lost today 860. Well, that was from yesterday. So and plus one plane as well. They lost a plane yesterday, which were one thing I want to put out. 15 tanks. So they're getting close to 5,200 tanks, 23 vehicles, 14 artillery systems, 28 UAVs, and 2 special equipment, 1 anti-aircraft warfare. One of the things right here I want to note is that we're probably, at least right now, at the official marking. It's not going to say it on paper yet, but we are probably at the official marking of 300,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in Ukraine throughout the so-called special operation Putin's military operation that totally isn't a war. Hamas calls on the UN about hospital attacks. And the UN is going to listen to a bunch of criminals and a bunch of terrorists. The UN is going to go, oh, we have listened to the Hamas concerns. Shut the fuck up. You don't listen to terrorists. We don't fucking negotiate with terrorists. So if you come out to me and say that the UN has agreed to terms given to them by Hamas or has heard the Hamas concerns, I will fucking march down there and I will tell them what the fuck is up. Because they seem to have forgotten that we don't fucking negotiate. Okay? We don't fucking negotiate with terrorists. I'm just saying. You know, we don't negotiate with goddamn terrorists. It's ridiculous. And we don't talk to terrorists. We destroy terrorists. Because if they want to be terrorists, well, they could end it right now. Hamas, they could end it right now. Surrender. At least you'd be live, you know? Alright, well, the Hezbollah taking steps. Okay, we have some reports on Hezbollah right now, so I'll give you that. Sorry about that. Hezbollah taking steps to cut Hezbollah takes steps to cut mounting losses after dozens of operatives killed by Israel in recent weeks. Group is deploying surface-to-air missiles to counter Israel drones, taking other measures. It appears to me that while they are somewhat still on the war footing, they're not actively on the war footing, it appears. A military clash took place between the Yemen howitzer and the army of Saudi Arabia. As well as reported earlier, I was gonna talk to them, but let's talk about that here. But 4 Saudi Arabia soldiers were killed on the border between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. The truce between Saudi Arabia and Yemen howitzer has been broken. There was a truce between them. That's true. It has been broken. Supposedly, they fought each other before. At least, well, that obviously have. If they had a truce between them, they've obviously fought each other before. But it appears that not only have the Russian war in Ukraine spiked a lot of old rivalries, it appears that they've now sparked up some controversy in the Middle East here. If you hadn't noticed, if you hadn't noticed throughout the last few days here. But what appears to be happening right now is that it sparked the older controversy happening down towards the Saudi Arabia and Yemen border, where those two did have a truce between them, but that truce appears to have been cut off, or at least the howitzers have, not howitzers, but howitzers, I don't know how to say it, howitz, I think maybe, or something like that, have cut that truce and is now saying, well, listen, we don't give a fuck anymore. Is it Iranian? By the way, they're Iranian backed. I just want to say that it's not Iranian forces, but they are literally Iranian backed. That's no joke. They are literally Iranian backed. Oh, they had cut it. Look at that. The IDF cut the main road in northern Gaza Strip. So they're there, and they said they're going to push towards the coast. So they're going to push. They're at the road right there. That's the main road right there. That's cut off. They're not in control of that. But they're going to push from there to the coast to cut it off. That's what I've been talking about there a bit earlier as well. Yeah. So Iran is actively saying, hey, we're ready. You know? Yeah. All right. Well, I guess for a little bit here, because I will be trying to look for some more news here, but Zelensky put out a statement here. We have to be realistic about the Russian army. So we're going to watch Zelensky's about 4:30 seconds. So we haven't had that up for a little bit. So take a look at Zelensky here.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці і українки. Передусім я хочу відзначити наші бойові бригади. Усіх воїнів, які б'ються на найбільш гарячих напрямках фронту. Дякую усім воїнам, які своїми штурмами та своєю стійкістю, героїчною стійкістю доводять на ділі, що Україна здатна протистояти російському тиску, здатна знищувати окупантів, здатна перемогти. 53-я і 110-та окремі механізовані бригади, 79-та бригада ДШВ. Дякую, хлопці, за Авдіївку та Мар'янку. 14-та, 32-та та 57-та окрема мотопіхотна бригада. Дякую за захист Куп'янського напрямку. 80-та окрема десантно-штурмова бригада та 93-я окрема механізована бригада. Дякую вам, воїни, за Бахмутський напрямок, за просування вперед. 33-я окрема механізована бригада. Дякую за вашу силу в боях на півдні України. Сьогодні провів важливі перемовини із прем'єр-міністром Нідерландів Марком Рютте. Поінформував його про ситуацію на передовій, про наші дії, наші можливості. Я вдячний за допомогу, за системи ППО, за снаряди для наших воїнів, за потужні речі, які допомагають нам тримати безпеку східної частини Чорного моря. Наші домовленості з Марком, про які ми говорили під час зустрічі в Одесі, виконуються. І дуже важливо також і те, що Нідерланди стали першою державою з-поза меж Великої Сімки, з якою ми почали двосторонню роботу щодо безпекових гарантій. Обговорили з паном прем'єр-міністром і результати зустрічі радників щодо формули миру на Мальті. Зустрівся з делегацією Конгресу США. 3 конгресменів, які перебувають з візитом в Україні. Важливий візит солідарності. Я вдячний усім в Конгресі, в обох партіях, хто допомагає захищати свободу. Президенту Байдену, його команді та кожному американцю, хто відчуває, що свобода у світі може вистояти лише тоді, коли Америка сильна і коли у ворогів вільного світу немає сумніву в американському лідерстві. Я поінформував конгресменів про ситуацію на передовій, про дуже успішне застосування американських атакамсів, нещодавно переданих нашим силам оборони. Звичайно, ми обговорили і питання продовження військової та бюджетної підтримки. Провів сьогодні і кілька важливих нарад щодо наших подальших міжнародних кроків. Нараду підсумкову щодо зустрічі радників на Мальті та наступних планів по формулі миру. Нараду щодо очікуваної оцінки від Єврокомісії по нашому прогресу в європейській інтеграції, а також нараду щодо нашої стратегії по збереженню уваги світу до України, по підтримці тієї єдності, яка допомагає нам захищатись та забезпечувати системне послаблення держави-агресора. Ми маємо тверезо оцінювати російську систему. Вони мобілізували всі сили, щоб спробувати не втратити захоплене в Україні, але свою територію при цьому забруднили таким рівнем ненависті та деградації, що вже вдруге за цей рік в Росії втрачається контроль за подіями. То заколотники йдуть на Москву, і ніхто їх не зупиняє, то випаровується вертикаль влади в Дагестані, і відбувається справжній погром. Це все сигнали того, що Росія поки може витримувати бойові дії та подекуди збільшувати тиск на фронті, але не здатна витримати це протистояння стратегічно. Стратегічно ми всі маємо бути міцними, маємо бути єдиними, маємо робити можливе і неможливе, аби вистояти і повернути своє. І довести, що свобода точно сильніше, ніж ненависть та агресія. Для цього потрібна наша з вами єдність. Єдність всієї Європи, єдність Америки, єдність усього вільного світу. Єдність – це найбільш ефективна, точна та далекобійна зброя. Я дякую всім, хто допомагає, дякую кожному і кожній, хто б'ється і працює заради України. Слава Україні!
It doesn't appear that a lot of you like to watch Zelensky Every time I play Zelensky, you all leave. You don't like watching Zelensky. That's a bad thing, though. Oh, it's so boring. That's the problem with most young people nowadays. I'm part of it. Yeah, our attention span nowadays, it's like a fucking palpable, you know? You can cut it with a goddamn knife. I don't say you have to stay here. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyways, we'll move on. That doesn't matter. It's fine. The IDF. I had a previous statement here. David, welcome in. So, Israel is introducing additional forces into the Gaza Strip, and the scale of the ground operations continues to expand, IDF spokesman said earlier today. Now, I want to say that that's true. And I think we are still in a sort of expansion level. I mean, we are at a point where we're invading. I can't tolerate that guy. There's some guy that takes a power drill out somewhere here tonight, and then he just starts hammering it into the ground. I don't know if they're trying to get rid of stuff that's on the ground. That's possible, but I can't tolerate. It's like a... Sorry. But, yeah. It doesn't matter. Sorry about that. We have... That's stupid. Alright. We have... Yeah, so we are at that point in time where I'd say it's getting close to that full-scale invasion. They're continuing to add forces to it, and I don't know how many forces. I believe we are at the 10,000 mark, if not more. And I think it's very possible that as soon as the objectives of the expanded operations have been reached, we are to possibly see the further developments of what's going to happen, you know? So, yeah. Patrick, welcome in. Yeah. Russia payment system Mir was hacked by unknown hackers. Unknown hackers. Anonymous. I don't know. Probably not. Yeah, I believe we are very close to the expansion point. The expansion point, and what I'm talking about is, well, the point in where it's becoming a full-scale invasion, sure. Reports that the Israeli Air Force is targeting sites in southern Lebanon. I think Israel, at the moment, is giving Lebanon a taste of what could happen to it if it decides to go ahead and, well, destroy things. So I want to say, yeah. Yeah. You know, and what's the point of view here? I mean, I just don't know. Because my mind is confused right now, because this idea that the Saudi Arabians all of a sudden is on high alert, I just, you know, I'm like, why would Iran do that? That's why I'm not focusing right now, because I'm in my back of my mind, I'm talking back here, but in the back of my mind, I'm like thinking, like, what the fuck is Iran doing? Like, why are they doing it? I know I could have come up with some solutions for it, but that's all speculation. You know, I think Iran is trying to control a lot of the oil production in the Middle East, trying to become a more powerful country. Therefore, it may have told the Houthis or any of that to, stop being nice and break the truce. But yeah. For the attack raises fears of wider regional conflict amid the escalating Gaza war. Yeah. You see, if Saudi Arabia starts getting attacked by Iran, then all of a sudden, doesn't Iran and Israel have a common enemy? I mean, when you think about it, they would have somewhat of a common enemy. So, unlikely friendship, I don't know, but, you know. Why would they do that, though? It serves. I think it serves Iranian. I think it serves Iranian purposes, though. I really do. UN. Holy shit! Why my arm is so itchy? God damn it. UN. Oh, we have. I think it's all clear in Ukraine right there. UN coordination of humanitarian affairs officials say some 9,000 cancer patients are not receiving are not receiving care. I'll just say it like that. In Gaza, while those on life support and babies on incubators cannot evacuate, as moving will certainly be a death sentence. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard point because I get their point. You know, I'm not. You know, yeah. Yeah. %100. But what can really be done is the big question, right? I mean, what can you really do to help the situation within Gaza and the targeting? Because I think Israel, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I do think Israel should save up some of those rockets. Because they are conducting an extreme amount of airstrikes, and you know they are planning on a wider front. I think they are. I mean, listen, this Gaza war thing that they keep saying is going to take years or months. It's not going to take years and months. Okay, you know, the Gaza war in itself. It's not going to take years and months. Okay, the defense minister said, "Oh, it's not a matter of weeks. Okay, it's a matter of months and years." Yeah, the matter of months of years is the matter of if the war expands, which is really, I think, what Israeli is I think Israel is actually counting on it, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't know why I am, but I just kind of am. I think Israel, at the moment in Palestine, is not provoking, but they are certainly not provoking. They are certainly pushing to the edge of the knife in Palestine, so that Palestine does something that could provoke them to start doing something. I really think so. I think Israel is trying to take back it's trying to take complete control of this area here. I think they want rid of the I think, honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you, it's a hard statement, but I think if I'm being completely honest with you, what I'm looking at and when we're seeing it, it's like they're trying to get rid of the full indications, you know? Israel 100% already knows it's going to expand. There's no other way to put it. Listen, the Gaza war, it's not going to take a month to invade this, okay? It's not going to take a month to invade all this. They've been fighting since Friday, right? Which is over the weekend. We're on Monday right now, and the Israeli forces are, I mean, we can get it up there for you again, right? They've been fighting for a weekend. Right now, Hamas may be able to continue its assault because it still has relative amount of equipment. However, how long is that equipment gonna last? You know? Especially because right now, if they manage to push from here to the coast, that's a complete cutoff of the northern part. How long is the aid gonna last then? You know, how long is the aid gonna last? How long before they can't before Hamas can keep fighting on free fronts in an isolated area where you're pretty much trapped? I mean, they're gonna be pretty much trapped. How long before they give up on that? Because you gotta imagine Israel could continue to bring in supplies. They have got supplies for years. You know, they've been preparing this for a very long time, and Israel could fight this on for a very long time. Don't get it wrong. And these heavy gunfire targets in downtown military checkpoints near the town of Yabat, southwest of Jenin. Jenin, that's over there. All right. But yeah, I mean, what we're looking at right now, and I'm certainly, this is the area I'm looking at right now, because the reason why I'm saying that is when you have it over here, for example, this is the one right here. It's 21 minutes ago. You had a death toll, right? A commander in Jenin brigade was killed during clashes with Israeli forces. So this is also the other, of course, the other terrorist group. And the mobilization we're seeing happening inside of Palestine, one of the things that we're worried about. Somehow, for some reason, the Hamas is still trying to conduct some kind of air strikes on Israel. They haven't succeeded because pretty much all of the airstrikes that are conducted on Israel has been shut down. But yeah, you listen, Gaza is not going to take months. I expect this to take maybe a month to two, if that's true. But I don't expect it to even take 2 months. I expect this Gaza for Israel to take the northern part. I 100%. If there's no other, if there's no other negotiation deals coming out or anything like that, it's gonna be a total of maybe a month for Israel to take that northern part. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be less than that. I can't tell you, but I think it's gonna be less than that. But you know, seems quiet. Well, I haven't. It's muted right now. I don't have it on because there's a guy that keeps hammering the goddamn ground. I mean, I can keep it on. It's just I don't know. I don't like the sound of that. But I mean, it's not actually that quiet. There's still a lot of explosions, but it's quieter. I say that's if that's what you're trying to say. Yeah. Former Iranian Revolutionary Guard command shares an insight on Gaza conflict. Moshan Rashia stated Iran was unaware of Israel events on October 7th, emphasizing the need for transparent communication. He expressed his concerns about potential escalation by Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu. Rashia highlighted the global desire to end the conflict in Gaza. Further, he raised suspicion on the U.S. leveraging the Gaza situation for the regional influence and criticized U.S. information sharing with Israel with discouraging intervention by Iran and Islamic nations. Yeah. I do think that he is completely wrong. Of course, Iran knew what happened. Of course, Iran knew what was happening. You know, I think it's such a fucking, you know, it's just what's really bullshit is the fact that they keep saying we had no idea. You know, we didn't know. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what was happening. Did you know what was happening? We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know. We didn't know. You know, that whole thing, like, oh yeah, we didn't know. Like, you know, we know you know. Because first of all, We know you were there to support it. They were fighting with kamikaze drones. They were fighting with drones that you produced. Iran produced drones that Hamas used. It's known that that Iran and Russia had talks together about such situation. We had Wagner in the area. Of course, Iran knew what was going to happen. It'd be absolutely stupid to believe that Iran didn't know that, because I think, yeah. By the way, I just want to say that it was a statement that came out from a press briefing today that the U.S. forces in the last 2 weeks has been attacked 23 times. 23 times in the last 2 weeks. There has been 23 attacks on U.S. bases. 23. How long before the U.S. continues to, think that's all right? Well, they don't think it's all right, but how long before they can tolerate, You get what I'm saying? This is the second attack on U.S. forces in the Middle East within the last 2 hours, and possibly the fourth or fifth attack in the last 24 hours. A lot of attacks. And it's continuing, and it's very much of it is Iranian backed. Some of it is Syrian and Iraqi forces, or not. Well, Iraqi terrorist groups and all that stuff. But yeah, it is seriously a serious concern. I think it is. Yeah, I think Iran knew everything that's gonna happen. I think Iran knows everything. I think, have they planned this out? I think so. I don't think that Iran expected the U.S. to react in the way they did, and I don't think that Iran expected Israel to react the way they did. I think we genuinely shocked the shit out of both the Middle Eastern countries that organized this and Russia, because I genuinely believe that we shocked the shit out of them. By the way, today there was attacks in Crimea. I don't think the bridge was taken out, but there was some attacks in areas that we know that previously was air defense systems. Look at that. It looks like some kind of storm shadow, maybe, or something. Neptune. Oh, yeah. It's gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt. Yeah, that was fired off right there. You saw that right there come off.
Саша, она прямо над нами. Давай, пока вы там ковыряетесь, я сейчас отключаюсь. Давай.
Офигеть. Прямиком над нами.
More strikes. More strikes. More strikes.
Ой, пошла. Вон еще. Вон.
It's Taco Tuesday. I can't say that because they're gonna sue you people. It's a call to boom. From Sergei's side, the call of negotiations sounded for the first time in many months of war. Sergei doesn't just speak about readiness to negotiate with Ukraine, but also about figuring out relations with the West. He says that there is a need to build a new security infrastructure. He made this statement in Beijing. Intensive preparation for the visit of Chinese leader of the United States are currently underway there. Xi Jinping will meet President Biden in San Francisco. Issues of global security will be discussed there. So Shoki's statement was probably made with regards to China's, among other things. It was also probably made with regards to Russia currently not having enough resources to continue intensive assault combat and needing time to rest and restore forces. Really? That's a good statement right there for you. But yeah, it probably has. Russia is open to discussing and resolving any security issues if the dialogue is honest, equitable, equitable? I don't know. And based on mutual respect of the negotiation parties.
в области безопасности, если этот диалог будет честным,
Such fucking bullshit.
равноправным и основанным на
It's such fucking bullshit.
договаривающихся сторон. Однако без пересмотра
However, without the West reconsidering its I can't read. With vigorous infliction at strategic defeat on Russia, fruitful negotiations in this framework are unlikely to be possible. If you don't know me, I'm from Denmark, and I don't speak English as a native language. There's some words I can't read. Sometimes I can't read them. I know the word probably, I just don't. Sometimes I, like, yeah.
Западом своей деструктивной линии, которая предусматривает нанесение России стратегического поражения, плодотворные переговоры в этой сфере
I'm also
вряд
dyslexic,
ли возможны.
so it makes it
Вместе
not
с
better.
тем,
At the same time, should the necessary conditions be created, we remain ready for political discussions on realistic
на
grounds.
случай создания необходимых условий сохраняем готовность к политическим дискуссиям на реалистичных началах.
You know what I hate? The fact that they even have a scene, the fact that Russia, in so many ways, have the ability and the fucking audacity to come up on stage and act like they're the good guys, and act like they are the ones who's gonna, you know, start acting better, start doing better. You know, it's like, oh yeah, all they're gonna do, right? All they're gonna do is you know, have a ceasefire, if anything, call for negotiations to calm down, and then or call for the war to calm down, or even have some kind of lines, maybe even call for the reconstruction of their you know, sanctions, restore equipment, rebuild their army, refruitful their army, make sure that that works, and then, well, continue to, and then probably sometime in the future, maybe in 10 years time, when Putin, he's 80 years old, and if he's still alive, relearn and redo the counteroffensive, or move in on Ukraine again. The thing about Putin is that he's willing to wait. He's willing to wait it out. He's willing to do so. The thing about what would then be different about that would that not only would Russia have more equipment, but they would probably have retrained their army, have time to proper train their army. However, we would also have a lot of time to retrain the Ukrainian army. Not only will we have time to retrain the Ukrainian army, the chances of Russian sanctions being lifted are so slim that I don't believe that that's even going to happen. So if anything, if Russia tries to rebuild their so-called army, it wouldn't even happen. It wouldn't even fucking happen, because the equipment that they could build, you know, not only do I think at the current time it would take them 10 to 12 years, or maybe 20 years to even rebuild what they have lost, which would, you know, at that point Putin would be 90. He'd be dead by then, 100%. I can't see him making to 90. I just can't see Putin living to 90. I don't know why, but I can't see that happening. I mean, if he does, that would be fucking horrific. But yeah, you know, and then continuation on the war when he's 90, or when he's even if they manage to rebuild an army, even if they manage to do something like that, the chances that they be able to take on a rebuilt, a reinforced, a better, a more focused Ukrainian army, you know, and a prepared Ukrainian army this time. Last time Ukraine wasn't prepared. There's no way to. We're not gonna hide it. You know, we're not gonna hide it. Ukraine wasn't prepared, but they were able to resist. They were able to hold them off, even though Ukraine wasn't really prepared. Their army wasn't really prepared in such ways. They really weren't. But they managed to, and they still did it. So I think, you know, we have to point that out as well. I want to show you something here. This is a large fire broke out in Russian city of Izhevsk, I think it is. Look at that. This is in Russia today. More fires in Russia. Who would have guessed? Right? I mean, that's, you know, but I do see, I mean, I am at this point in time where we're like, oh, are we gonna wait 10 years before something happens, or are we gonna, you know, I don't think so. I don't think we can actually actively wait for 10 years for something to happen. I don't think that's, you know, actively wait for 10 years for another war, you know, especially what's happening in the Middle East, around the world. Are we gonna wait for another 10 years for anything to really happen? I mean, that's a long time, and I don't see Israel fighting, not fighting anybody, you know, in 10 years. I see them having one, probably fighting, but you know, at this point, I don't think waiting on anything more than that, you know. But yeah. The continuation of forces that in which we boast. Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's what I had for you. I mean, I didn't really, it's like a, yeah. Sorry. Still hearing explosions coming out from Gaza here. Let's see if Trey Yinks has any update for us. No update yet. His latest update was that there today actually were sirens and siren off in Israel, so which is insane to even, you know, still be happening, but it's still happening, yeah. Okay, so now they're saying that there has been 24 attacks on U.S. bases. They must have had one more since the last time I said it, or short it. The Israeli Air Force says it attacked around 600 targets in the last day. How do they know? I mean, they must actually have. I mean, people do say that Israel does have some of the best intelligence services in the world, so they must have quite a good capability when it comes to detection of things. You know, yeah, and they must have, because apparently they continue to detect everybody. I mean, they just say like, oh, well, who's over there? Oh, that's another guy. Oh, okay. Oh, you gonna kill that guy? Yeah. Where is he? Oh, he's in this house on these coordinates. How do you know that? We just know. It's like, yeah. It's quite incredible when you think about it. If they keep going like, oh, how do you know he's in this house over here? Oh, well, we just know. You know, we just know. We know. Well, how do you know? We just know. Okay? Just believe us. Okay? We've done this for a long time. Another explosion just then. They're still hitting, I think, what it may be shells hitting the ground. Israeli shells. I don't know if I think the Hamas attacks have become less and less. Even after just a weekend of intense fighting, it appears that the fighting against the Israeli forces from the Hamas side has become, I wouldn't say insignificant, not yet, but it will certainly probably become very insignificant very soon. I do genuinely think it's going to become very insignificant very soon. If IDF Rapid Response Campaign. Oh, AIDS, right? I thought they called it AIDS. I thought they called the campaigns. I thought FIDF Rapid Response Campaign I thought they called it AIDS, but it says aiding, right? IDF soldiers amid the aftermath of the devastating Hamas attacks, ensuring critical support reaches them from. I thought they called it AIDS. I was like, Jesus Christ, you could have picked a better name. You call it fucking AIDS. AIDS. The talks about. Oh yeah, what do you call it? AIDS. Medical source in Gaza: the number of Palestinian deaths in the strife has risen to 8,005, and those injured 20,242 since October the 7th. It is a lot. I'm not discounting what's happening here in Israel as being quite a far out event right now. I mean, I'm not saying that. You know, I think it is terrible, but I can't speak for the fact because it's Hamas' fault. They're the ones who brought it upon the civilians there. Do I think Israel could have been a little nicer towards the Gaza citizens? I mean, many times the Gaza citizens, they are stuck in some ways, but you know, I'm just saying. 49 Hezbollah member has been killed during clashes with Israel since October 7th. For a compromise, Hezbollah claims that 250 fighters were killed during the first month's war with Israel in 2006. Hezbollah has 1 out of 5 of that now without being in war. Oh, right. Like that. So they have killed 1 out of 5, almost, in a case in where they were not at war, and they were at war, you know. Yeah. USS and now USA or US announces new nuclear bomb 24 times more powerful than the one dropped on Hiroshima in Japan. That's the way the US does it. You know, Russia likes to say no way for stuff to get in anymore. Yeah. But the U.S., right, when they announce their nuclear, when they do sort of their trying to scare Russia, right, the U.S. usually don't go, oh, we have nuclear bombs. Remember that. The U.S. goes, listen, buddy, we're just gonna make a big bomb. Well, can't we just tell them we have a lot of bombs? Oh, no, listen, buddy. What I need is a lot of bombs. I need a big bomb, okay? And what I need this big bomb for is I need it so it's bigger, badder than any Russian bomb, okay? And then, when they come around, and they will come around, I'm going to tell them, look at this one right here. Look at it, buddy. Look at it. It's pretty big, okay? Now that is what I like. That's how you do it. Nuclear blackmail right there for you. America. You know what I find funny? The fact that they always say it was bigger than the one dropped in Hiroshima. No shit. Anything you built is going to be bigger than the one dropped on Hiroshima. The factor is, buddy, the first ones ever built were the ones who were dropped on Hiroshima. So obviously, the next ones are going to be more powerful. That's kind of a usual kind of thing. But I get what you're saying. I mean, 24 times more powerful. You know, the one that were killed... in total, it killed 210,000, maybe something along that line. But yeah. Let's go. Bring it, bitch. Yeah. You imagine Donald Trump announcing that? It was like, so listen, Putin. I've got a bigger bomb, okay? Okay? You've got a lot of bombs, but I got a bigger bomb, okay? My bomb is so fucking big, it's gonna destroy your fucking ass within 2 hours, okay? Okay? Listen. I got a big bomb, okay? Now listen. I mean, that'd be great. I'd like to see Donald Trump announce that. Al-Assad Air Base in western Iraq has just been targeted again today, with at least 2 kamikaze attack drones launched by Iranian-backed militia reported to have struck the base within the last few minutes. We have it again, guys. America has been attacked. Al-Assad Air Base in western Iraq has just been targeted again today, with at least 2 kamikaze attack drones launched by Iranian-backed militias reported to have struck the base within the last few minutes. Iran seems to be playing with fire. Because, holy fucking shit, are they stupid. You didn't know who they're fucking with? I'm just saying. Mini war on Lebanon border is not going well for Hezbollah so far. Well, you could say that. They certainly are in a mini war. Yeah, they are. In some ways, I'd say that's a statement you could agree with right there. U.S. Pentagon officials in our says, oh, that was one. Okay, so I read that. Yeah, there you have it. It's absolutely ridiculous. The factor, what's really ridiculous, is the factor that they're doing it, and Iran, not directly involved, is involved. Who's the USA gonna attack first? I don't know. But I tell you what, if this right here was back in... You go 20 years back, somebody did that to a fucking base in the Middle East, against a US base in the Middle East, they would have attacked them by now. I don't know why. I don't know why they haven't. I think they're trying to avoid a regional war, which for the US... actively trying to avoid a regional war. It's very grown up of the U.S. I'm very proud. But I think we're trying to be the grown up, which is, I think in some ways is a smart thing. But yeah. Oh, look at that right there. The Arab League will have an emergency meeting on the war between Israel and Gaza on November 11th. This will be the first emergency meeting since the Hamas attack on October 7th. On November 11th, there will be an emergency meeting between the Arab League. Yeah. So that's in about, what is that, 12 days? Yeah. Emergency meeting. Rock one. Oh shit. I think it's bold. The cooperation between the Shin Bet and Israel army beyond enemy lines is nothing short of amazing. The operation division is aware of the tremendous capabilities of the combination and prefers them over the special IDF units, which of course provides an excellent envelopment of their activities, a brave professional decision. So the cooperation between the Shin Bet, sympathetic terrorist organization? I don't know what that is. I to be honest with you, if you ask me how many terrorist organizations exist out there, I'd say 1,000. Because I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot. You know, how many is active at the moment? Probably, not a lot. Actively in war, actively going on, I think like, when you think about actively attacking people, we may have the howitzers who are attacking Saudi Arabia, or you have, of course, Hamas. But other than that, you have some people in the West Palestine. You have those forces in Palestine, the Jenin or something like that. The other forces there who are still working on active attacks against those guys. You have Iranian, Syrian backed, a total of 5 organizations, but we were talking about the big guys. And ISIS and Afghanistan, Taliban and all that are of course active. Taliban is still calling for the fact of letting them through so they could, Taliban is still saying, hey guys, can we come through? Come on guys, let us through. Come on, we're gonna fight for you. Come on, let us through. come on, come on, let us through. Yeah. help us through, okay, buddy. They want to march through Iran, which is Iran is pretty much an arch enemy of Afghanistan as well. They don't like each other either. Nobody really likes each other in the Middle East. It's all just a shit pot. Nobody actually likes each other in the Middle East. They just act like they do when they need to, which is the funny part. The Arab League is like a coalition between these people, but they say like, oh yeah, we're gonna we're gonna work together on this one. They keep saying, oh, we're gonna work together on this one. It's like, yeah, sure, buddy. You also said that last time, didn't you? Every time. No, listen, no Arab country likes another one. They may have common goals, they may have common ideas, and some of them might be friendly to each other, but usually between the countries there is quite a spite because they can't really agree with each other on a lot of things. So there's not really any of them that really sort of likes each other. I mean, they have friendly tensions, but they have tensions between every single one of them. You know, it's like, yeah. Someone's mad because Jordan did that. Someone's mad because Iraq did that. And someone's mad that Jordan has Israeli troops inside. And, well, sorry, no, Jordan is... people are mad at Jordan. People were mad at Jordan because they had fucking... because they host U.S. troops. Well, I don't know if they host, but they do have them inside the country, obviously. And they, you know, Iran doesn't like that. And then there's Iraq and Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia doesn't like Iran because Iran keeps doing that, and blah blah blah. And you know, it's like, people keep thinking they like each other. No, they don't like each other. They only like each other when it suits them. Because when it has a common goal, if they get rid of Israel, which is a partner in the technology, not only does Iran, which has a lot of interest in this war, become the most powerful, at least one of the closest to the most powerful army in the Middle East, which makes them the most feared one, right? And you know, in general, the overall market, I think it's gonna help Iran sort of become richer, I guess you could say, but more powerful, more influential. Israel, of course, you know, sort of has a more influence, at least at the moment right now, because they have a military that is effective and have long range, you know. So it's like, yeah. A lot of people need to, you know, focus on that sometimes, but they don't, you know, it's like, it's not like here at home when we have people we actually like, and we have people that we, you know, it's like here at home or in, you know, either in Europe, we have people we actually like, you know, like each other. We like Germany, we like France, we like, you know, it's like we're allies, we're actually allies, we actually have, you know, it's like, you know, it's a morale reason, the reason why we fight and all that stuff, you know. If you ask the Iranian military to come to the aid of the Saudi Arabian military, there would have to be a pretty good reason for it. You know, unless you were offering Iran $1 trillion, that, you know, or something, you know, that could sway them towards it. You know, they're not gonna go a morality. Oh, well, let's protect each other. No, it's not really, you know. I mean, that's just my point of view. Sorry, I'm going on a bit here, but yeah, it's true. There's a lot of turmoil that's been happening in and around that area. Lithuania sent a note of protest to Belarus because of its threat of the cut of corridor to Kaliningrad. Oh yeah, the Belarusians threatened yesterday that they would cut the corridor between Belarus and Kaliningrad, you know, the Suwalski Gap. You don't know what the Suwalski Gap is. The Suwalski Gap is just up here. That's the Suwalski Gap right there. You see Suwalski. And then, of course, they said that they were gonna move that they were gonna move through that corridor, together with Kaliningrad, together with Russia. Now, notably, one thing I've seen. By the way, I just want to point out another thing here. United States. There's still a lot of things moving from air bases in Germany, moving to the Middle East. It's still happening. United States are still moving. You know, that's 4 planes right there. Look at that. But another thing I wanted to note was that I've seen recently a plane called an AN-124. AN-124 is one of the biggest, I believe, the biggest transport plane that that Russia has. And it's been moving between St. Petersburg or Moscow or a military base. It's been moving between Kaliningrad and it's been moving up here. Now they're allowed to fly here because obviously they still own Kaliningrad. Russia still owns Kaliningrad. There's nobody who can say that. I mean, they still do, right? But yeah. So they're moving in between here, and they're actually doing that. So there's a big military plane, like 2 times now. I don't know how many times it's been going back and forward, but it has been moving back and forward here. I don't know what they're planning, but they're doing something. In particular, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Republic of Lithuania knows that such statement can be understood as an open threat or an attack on Lithuania and are absolutely unacceptable. Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's not one of those Russian propaganda things, but I think Lithuania responding to that saying, fuck off, you know? It's like, it's not, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, fuck off, please. You know, it's like, yeah, that's a good statement from me. Russian investigators claim 2 soldiers arrested from over Volnovakha killings. The Russian investigators claimed that 2 Russian soldiers have been arrested on October 30th in connection with the murder of 9 members of Ukrainian families in occupied Volnovakha. Well, obviously they're gonna look like good guys, right? Yeah, really. Either they're just gonna execute them or they're just gonna let them go. You know, it's like, yeah. Very heavy airstrike and artillery fire right now continuing in the northern Gaza Strip as RDF armored units continue clashes and ground offensive operation near the Gaza City. So they're still going, which, I mean, that's not something I had to read up, but just so you have it there. Maybe I'll have this. I'm back now, I think. You're back? Okay. Welcome back, Deception. Welcome to the show. Well, I assume you know what's going on, Deception. But the world's a bit of a cooking pot right now. But that doesn't sound too good, Deception. Hopefully you can get some peace or something like that. God damn. You know, fair enough. Good to hear. Good to hear. Good to know. Good. It's good. It's good. Boo, 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 boo. Guess I'm missing the world right now. Well, it certainly isn't fun anymore.
Ты чем будешь убивать их? С какой целью сюда пришел, братишка?
Я за еврейцами.
За еврейцами?
Я тоже.
There's those 2 kids right there. It's absolutely ridiculous that some parents, you know, some of these Middle Eastern parents or some of these people in around that places call good parenting to teach their children to walk around with knives. Now, some people in the UK, they said that, oh yeah, but you know, what do we do with people that walk around with knives? We have to arrest those people? And then they say, yeah, but they're youth. You know, many of them are youth. So what do? You know, and they say, what do we need to sharpen the administration? Do we need to sharpen the punishment for people that walk around with knives? I mean, can we do that? Is that moral? What the fuck are you even talking about? Moral? You have kids running around with knives. First of all, have a fucking talk with the parents, because apparently the parents aren't doing their fucking job and raising the children properly. And second of all, maybe, yes, you should sharpen the fucking youth penetration office, because I'm just saying, what the fuck is wrong with the UK right now? Just, somebody's running around with a knife, you know, arrest them. Yes. And then they say, well, why, you know, what do we do when those people that run around with knives, they go around saying, you know, but that's mistreatment, or that's, you know, that's, what can we do then? And it's a very simple answer I have for you. Stop walking around with knives in your fucking pocket, and then nobody else will start stabbing each other. Because if nobody's walking around with knives, nobody's going to start stabbing each other. You know, it's same thing. You know, it's like, what's the point of view? Like, they're saying, oh yeah, but how can we stop people? It's like, you know, all you really need to do is arrest some of them, right? And then they say, look at these kids right here. They're gonna spend a year in jail, and then all of a sudden they're gonna go, shit, you know. Trust me, because they don't want to spend a year in jail, but they know because they're youth they can, you know. And also they say, oh, but they're running around with knives, you know. We can't just, you know, arrest them just because running around with knives. What are you talking about? First of all, if people run around with a goddamn knife, of course you can arrest them. You know, unless they have, you know, running around with razor blades for construction or something like that, and they have, you know, I also think there should be permits for that, but that's another thing. I do generally think that there should be some kind of permit or some kind of certificate. Is that how you say it? For people running around with construction knives, razor blades. I think that's something that's also. I'm not trying to shit on construction workers, because most of them, you know, don't run around stabbing people. They actually have a life to tend to. But, you know, I still think there should be some kind of certificate, you know, because no matter what, it's a knife. And a razor blade, you know, is a hell of a thing to have around. It's really sharp. So, you know, it's one of those things, like, what, you're walking around with a knife, and then you say, oh, how do we stop people running around with knives? How do you stop people running around with knives? Well, I don't know. Maybe you find the people that's running around with knives, right? And you arrest them. But why? Then they say, well, how do we arrest a youth? How do we arrest a person under 18? And I say, well, you do anyways. Because life is about lessons, okay? And listen, if they run around with a knife, they're going to learn pretty quickly that if they do, then they can end up in jail. I think that's pretty simple. Spend a week. Spend 1 day. Spend 5 days, you know? Yeah, but the thing is, there's no reason to charge a parent. You know, I get you should charge a parent, and you should, you know, talk to the parents. You should also talk to the parents, obviously, but, you know, it's the kid's fault. The kid should learn that that's wrong. I mean, that's all my point. I mean, I'm sorry if it's a bit, you know, it's lopsided, but I just think it's, you know, I just think that I think it's ridiculous. I mean, it's you know, the streets of London has never, you know, been unsafe. I saw a video just a second ago here that a dad had to defend his child from a man running around with a knife in his hand because, you know, he had a stroller and a baby, and then because the man with a knife was threatening to kill the baby, you know, it's like, and what, he doesn't get jail time because what, he's what, a minor? Oh yeah, but I mean, if the parents are telling, that's one thing that's problem here now. The one thing I'm bringing it up, and you might think I'm going off track here, but I'm not. The one thing that's weird right now, the one thing that really sucks, is the fact of how many parents are actively. Oh, look at that! We got a river joint actually. Oh, we got a river joint took off from America. It's in the UK right now. Look at that. The thing is, how many parents right now are actively encouraging their kids to go out on the streets and be aggressive against not only Jews but the general population in general, you know? It's like, well, Yeah. How can you allow that? How can you, as a parent, look at your child in the eyes and say, go out there and start stabbing people. Go out there and start killing people. Go out there and be aggressive. They're doing it because they can't do it. Because if they do it, they go to jail. If a child does it, they may go to jail. But they may not go to jail, but they're going to use penetration or whatever the fuck they do. I don't know what they do, but they do something, right? I mean, right? I mean, if you kill someone, obviously you're not going to be allowed in the streets the next day, right? I mean, that's, you know. But it's, you know, those parents teaching their children, you're a fictitious parent. A child is a figmentation of what you are, the environment they grew up in. You failed as a parent if that's your, you know, so just, yeah. I mean, the parents should be responsible. Yes, that is true. I mean, I think the parent, obviously, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not disagreeing. Parents should. I think. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think the parents definitely should, and I think the child. Not only should they take a child away from the parents, I think the parents should be punished, and I think the child should be taken away from the parents. And then you go like, oh, that's rough. Why do you think that's rough? The parents are encouraging their child to go out in the streets and stab people. That's gonna get, not only it might get the child hurt, but it also is encouraging he might get arrested. He might have a life of violent crimes. You know, it's like, Jesus Christ. You know, take the goddamn child away from the parents. Give him a chance. The parents are sick in the head. They're not. You know, what the fuck is the matter with those parents? Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah. That's the current system and running right now. It's just, you know, sometimes I don't get it, but it's apparently we can't do that nowadays because we have to have so many reasons why we take the child away. It's like, oh, but have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? Have you looked at that? It's like, what do you mean? You know, it's like, if that happens, it's not a should we look at that? It's how do we get this child away? Because it's absolutely ridiculous that we allow such things to even happen. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we allow such things to happen. It's manionic. It's idiotic. It's incompetent. It really is. Iran is a real threat. There's no pointing. There is a point out here. Iran does have military capabilities. There are a lot of right now at the moment. There are a lot of planes going around. Just now, you have planes. You have planes in columns. They're moving around these kind of columns right here, where they have three at a time. You got 3 Globemasters right there. They're moving in, right? They're moving in, and they're heading towards the Middle East. I think the players that we're looking at right now, we're looking at Iranian response. We're looking at I think biggest one is the Turkish response, who Turkey is now playing up. They're playing up, you know. EVC, welcome in. Oh, as a threat on American soil? I don't think Iran doesn't. Well, I mean, Iran doesn't have capabilities to attack U.S. on soil, if that's what you're thinking. They don't. I mean, terrorist attacks. You know, this is another thing. If that's the point of view, then yeah, there is of course, some concerns about terrorist attacks. But militarily wise, obviously, they don't have the capability to strike the U.S. at home. I don't. That's not, you know. But well, Turkey can't fire off the nuke that we put there. You know, Turkey doesn't have capabilities to fire the nukes that we put there, unless we explicitly. Well, I say the U.S., right? Unless the U.S. explicitly gave them the codes, gave them the go-ahead, or even gave them the, the ability to do so. They do require launch code. They do have to have functions, and there's U.S. forces in Turkey, obviously keeping an eye on it, or they're actively tracking that. Of course, they keep an eye on it, but I don't think the main concern is that Turkey's not going to start using nukes. So let's not start talking about the fact that they are going to start. Well, there's no such thing as stealing a nuke. Deception. You can't steal a nuke. Okay? Because they're in nuke launchers. They're not in the ground or in a storage space. They're in launchers that the U.S. controls. So there's no such thing as stealing a nuke. I mean, could it be done? Yeah, but at that point you still need launch code, and there's no reason why would they even use nukes in the first place? That's absolutely ridiculous. They wouldn't use nukes. Turkey can be annoying at times, but they don't have capabilities. No, yeah. I mean, no, I mean, listen. There's no reason. I mean, Turkey can be annoying, but they're not going to start stealing nukes and firing off nukes. That's not how things work. There's rules. There's things. Well, deception. I please ask you to stop saying that. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Israel Air Force intensifies strikes in Gaza tonight. Massive attacks reported. Ground operations ongoing. IDF is doing much, but not saying much. Yeah, this is good. IDF is doing a lot, but they're not saying much. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. All right. Oh, the explosions in the background there. You can still hear explosions in the background. Listen, there's no reason to be nervous about it because they're not going to be able to do much. The terrorist groups that operate in that area, yes, they are capable of doing things that can harm U.S. troops, but I think they'd I don't think the U.S. would let that happen, and certainly, going back to the homeland, I think it'd be a long time before you'd see anything happening on the homeland. I don't think there's any reason for panicking or being nervous about attacks. I don't think obviously there's I think obviously it is scary. I mean, yeah, but yeah, you know. The Islamic resistance in Iraq has of course claimed responsibility for the drone attack within the last hour on U.S. forces at Al Assad Air Base in western Iraq, with 2 attacks drones said to have struck the base. This is the 4th attack by Iranian-backed groups on U.S. troops in the region within the last 24 hours, and the second attack on Al Assad Air Base is in the last 12 hours. In the name of God, in the merciful, I call those who fight that they have been wronged, and that God is able to help them. The Mujahideen of the Islamic Resistance is in Iraq targeted the base of the American occupation and Al-Assad in the western Iraq with 2 drones and hit their targets directly. The Islamic Resistance in Iraq, Tuesday, 15 Rabi al-Akahi 1514. What time is it over there? Oh, what? Oh, they got different. Yeah, alright. How can that be? Right. What's up to say? Well, they did claim it. They claimed it. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I'll be honest with you. Do I think it's gonna be a long time before the U.S. is gonna move or even do some things? No. Air raid's going off in Ukraine right now. The U.S. State Department on anti-Semitism rally in Dagestan blaming Ukraine is absurd. Really? You think so? Yeah, obviously. Russia is continuing to blame Ukraine for things that happen inside Russia. And, well, it's good old Russia. It's good old Russia trying to blame everything on everybody else. Because it's never their fault. It's obviously not the Russians doing stupid things. No. Why would that ever be? You ever think the Russians trying to do something? The number of attacks that's been committed by this group against U.S. forces in western Iraq and eastern Syria over the last 2 weeks could easily be over 30 by now, with a single official response so far by the U.S. military. With only a single official response so far by the U.S. military, and that only being the destructions of 2 munition storage sites, causing no Iranian or malicious casualties. Do I think the U.S. is afraid of doing more? I'll be honest with you, I think so. I mean, I don't think it's stupid. I think it's smarter not trying to ruin the world, you know, with your mannerism. Well, I've not heard about that witchy, but sorry, not witchy, deception, but listen, you can read all you want about all these things, because there are gonna be a lot of things that there are gonna be a lot of people that's gonna come out saying stuff like that happens, and it may be true and maybe not, but you know, it's only at this point. You know, I still believe it's to try and make you fear things, or if anything like that. But you know, it certainly is scary. I mean, there's no reason not to think it's scary. There's things that's happening, and we should be ready. But I can't. I don't know about that. Ugh. Scholz Verdikt durch Anhaltungen bei UNO Erbistum über Gaza. What's that? Scholz defends German abstention in UN vote on Gaza. Right. Right. Well, he does that. Well, I think it's very little very little chance of anybody targeting rural areas. I think, you know, knowing these people, knowing who they are, I think, you know, knowing how these people operate is one thing, because they 100% don't operate in rural areas. They usually operate in big cities or things like that, where casualties are the highest. You know, you always have to worry about the areas where the casualties are the highest. You know, most densely populated areas and stuff like that. Neighbors are 70, 90 years old. Well, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, there's no, you know, you can't live in fear, is what I'm gonna say. There's no reason to live in fear, because listen, the world moves on, and if all you do is live in fear, then it's going to be a very sad life. That's my thought. You know, I mean, a lot of things happen. Things happen all the time. You know, and you know, you can't always live in fear. Because if you do that, it's gonna be a sad life for some. A lot of people do. A lot of people don't. Especially after what happened here, and people are afraid of, you know, attacks or stuff like that. And yeah, I get it, but you know, you can't live in fear. That's my point of view. There has to be room for life. Can't live in fear. That's the biggest point of view. Fair enough. It's happening. I don't talk about that. I've been saying it throughout the stream here, but as soon as they reach the sea, I think we have a window of like a 2 days time. As soon as they reach the sea, I don't know how long it's going to take, but as soon as they reach that sea there, because they are starting to push here, and that's the Israeli forces. They're trying to, as soon as they reach the sea, as soon as these guys maybe cut off the coast, when they do that, you know, they could besiege the city, you know, completely wait Hamas out, say, hey, you know, you guys brought this upon yourself, weaken down the enemy, and then eventually, you know, I think they're gonna either completely invade or just wait them out. Because in all honesty, you could invade Gaza City, and that's true, you could invade, but let's be honest, there ain't no reason to invade if you can cut the city off, you can cut all transport and supplies into the area off, and you know, if you do that, then there's no absolute reason. You can just besiege your city. Medieval way of fighting is besieging a city, but that's what Israel's doing, and it's a mighty fine job, but it's certainly also very extreme.
And the doors are closed. Success.
Spray paint number 2, man. All right. Have a good night, Desire. Have a good night. Well, I think it's been 2 hours now. I don't really have much more for you. I just want to make sure that you were somewhere aware of the situation. Did you were aware of the situation happening there? I think we're gonna end the stream here. I don't have anything more for you. I think we're getting close to the situation and where we could look at a further escalation, but until then, for now, we're just watching, keep an eye out. So yeah, have a good night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream here. We get a pretty good update here. I think we're going to get back to sort of I'm gonna go back to maybe making some documents so we actually can get like a good stream going, or maybe I don't know, but we'll see about it. Right now, it's a bit of a clusterfuck. I think we're a bit in a clusterfuck right now because there's a lot of things happening, and it's hard to sort of keep up. And sometimes you go live without wanting to go live because something happens. Right now I want to go live because Saudi Arabia has put their forces on high alert. Anything happens, of course, we'll come back live. But anything like that. But hey, if that happens, we'll come back live. Obviously, have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being here. And yeah, Slava Ukraina. And have a good time being killed in Palestine. I think that's my words, or whatever. Have a good time being killed in Gaza, you scum-averse Hamas. So there you have it.